Hi everyone, this is Johnnyonoes, and I'm playing No Man's Sky version 1.12, and in this Let's Learn episode, I'm going to teach you how to make money by trading commodities back and forth between ships that land on the star bases. The basic idea here is that you're going to be buying dynamic resonators at a low price and then selling them for a high price. You can identify the buyers and sellers by the fact that they have a star on the product or not. If they have a star around the product, that means that these are the guys that you'll be selling to. Take note of the number, 94.6, and then head to a ship that you know will be selling the product to you. So let's go talk to this guy. I've been here for a while, so I know which ships are buying and selling. And they're going to be the same ship type, same color. So the more you do this, the easier it will be for you to be able to identify who you need to buy from and who do you need to sell to. So we were at 94.6 for the buyer. The seller is selling it for 2.7% lower than the average. So if you take that gap, it was 94.6, and then you take the difference and you add the 2.7 to it, it looks like you're going to be getting 97.1% of your gap. Identify that gap first and foremost to identify whether or not this space station is going to be worth your time to be able to do this. You should be able to make around 1 million credits within about 15 minutes while you're doing this. Getting a larger gap will increase this time, profusely if you've got a gap that's over 100%. This particular station is not that great, but there are other factors involved that will speed up the process as well. So we now know that we are at 97.1%. So we know that we need to start buying from these guys and selling to the others. As I mentioned, as you do this more and more, you'll identify really quickly which ships are buying, which ships are selling. This ship in particular happens to be a buyer. So I just bought from this guy, and I'm going to sell to him. The price that we paid for this originally was about 33K. So every sale I'm making around 20K from doing the transaction. The other factor you need to keep in mind when buying products from a space station is how many of the products that each ship sells. Some stations, each one of them will sell maybe one or two. Other stations can sell more. So for this particular station, the average number of products that I've seen through the ships is either 3 or 4, which is really nice. So that original estimate of the gap being 97.1 is a little bit offset by the fact that you can buy lots of products from each of the ships. You don't have to worry about how many you're selling to. You can actually fill up your whole ship and sell to one person. The real factor that you're trying to look into here is how many a seller will sell to you. This is also a selling ship. And 4 right off the bat. 4 is the maximum number of dynamic resonators a ship can sell you. So if you're around 3 to 4, then you're in a good state. If people are selling at a gap of like 105%, but they're only selling one at a time, you're actually going to be going slower. So you have to balance these two factors. What's your gap and what is the number, the average number of products that each ship will sell. So this is a buying ship right here. So let's go ahead and sell our products to him. There's a couple other factors that go into it as well that it may seem like spurious data. It may be something that as I'm doing this, it just kind of goes through my mind as a, something that you have to worry about. But I also noticed that some space stations are busier than others. You'll have more ships coming in, or you might have a station that ships rarely come in. So that's the third factor that I would bring up as being kind of a variable at which you can increase the amount of money you make every 15 minutes. The other factor is the number of buyers versus sellers. Right now I'm kind of waiting here because the fact that there are only 2 buyers. Some stations have mostly buyers, some stations have mostly sellers. If you have a small amount of inventory space, this character is relatively new, so he doesn't have a lot of inventory space, nor is his starship all that huge either. So what I would hope to have is more of a balance of buyers and sellers, because I can't really hold that much product. If you happen to have 48 slots in your exosuit and 48 slots in your ship, you may want to look for a base that has fewer buyers and more sellers. That way you can stockpile a whole bunch and then sell them all at once as soon as you see a buyer. So in review, the four factors are the price gap between the average price and what you can buy and sell at. The second factor is how many products does each seller sell. The third is how busy is the space station. And then the fourth is the ratio of buyers to sellers. So that should get you to a point where you can make some really easy money. There's no danger at all. You're just kind of standing here. It is a little on the boring side. So what I tend to do is in the beginning of my game, I tend to get enough to buy a freighter, as well as some, extra money for upgrading my exosuit, as well as my multi-tool. The price stays constant, so it's never going to change. If you know the location of the system, then you can always come back to it. Given the new base building stuff that was added in 1.1, you actually have the ability of just building a base in this system so that anytime you need money, you just teleport back home, make a little bit of money, and then teleport back to the station that you were at while you were traveling. So you can easily, like, the way I would suggest it is find a station that really works really well, where you can get like 1.5 million every 15 minutes or so, and then find a planet to just throw your basic base down, so that you can either do like the preliminary quests from each of the quest givers, get all that done, while at the same time being able to make a good load of money. Like I started at 300k and now I'm at 14 million. So now I have just enough to get a freighter, maybe pay for all my exosuit upgrades, as well as all my multi-tool upgrades. Alright folks, so this is Johnnyonoes, and I've been playing No Man's Sky version 1.12. If you have any questions about this game or any of the other games that I support, please don't hesitate to ask in the comments section below. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you in the next episode.